but for endurance. Spectro offers leading engine, transmission, and brake fluid products, which are proudly made in the USA since 1966. Performance, reliability, quality, and tradition. Because every ride should feel as smooth as the first. Spectro Performance Oils.
Three races this weekend for the Royal Enfield Build Train race class, and Ciara Knable, our championship leader, out trying to make it 3 from 3. Steve English, Roger Hayden and Freddie Spencer here bringing you through the 8 laps of action that we're going to see for these 11 riders once again out there in the Build Train race class. Ciara Knable has been the rider to beat over the course of the weekend so far, but Miranda Kane will start from pole position. And Rog, when you look at the action that we were able to see earlier this morning, it all went down to that last lap.
Yeah, last lap. And these ladies are getting a lot of track time this weekend, more than anywhere else with the 3 races. And here's the second race, Miranda Kane on pole. They're not able to lead them down into turn 1. Pierre is over to make the move, just like she did yesterday. And Shea McGregor also there with a really good start.
McGregor on the 4.57 trying to attack on Miranda Kane, and they spent the racing fighting with one another. And for Shea McGregor on the 4.57, able to come away with another podium in race 1 and race 2, and it's been a good weekend for her. This is Camille Conrad on the 85 machine. She was able to come through there on Lucy Blundell, and in that last lap it all came down to this moment. And you can see for Shea McGregor, she was able to try and attack on Miranda Kane, and it just went wrong for her, but she was able to remount and still finish in 3rd spot. Miranda, on the other hand, wasn't so lucky. Her crash saw her out of action and give up 25 points to our championship leader, Ciara Knable. Another race victory for Ciara Knable has given her 100 points. 4 wins from 5 starts. She holds a 16-point advantage over Shea McGregor, with Miranda Kane, our pole sitter, 23 points back. And Freddie Spencer, at this stage of the season, those points really are critical.
Oh, well, and of course they are, and it's so disappointing for Miranda. You know, seeing her after the race, she certainly is not very happy with the situation and, you know, what happened, and mainly the frustration of being so close to the victory and then having the incident happen on the last lap. And you know, Shea put in an aggressive move and wasn't able to pull it off, and she crashed. Miranda was able to miss her, but she crashed, and she got a little bit of a bump on her left elbow and her thumb a little bit, but her intensity is there. She definitely wants to make up for it in race 3.
Obviously it was a move from McGregor from a long way back, but for Camille, Michael Hill, you're down there on the grid.
Yeah, just down here getting ready for the start of this one. The good news for the Miranda Kane fans is that the bike is rebuilt. She is ready to go, and of course she was bitterly disappointed with what happened in that second race. Ciara Knable then looking to do the triple, and Steve, we don't often get 3 races in a weekend, so this would be a first in BTR if Ciara can get this one across the line and take another 25 points. It's going to be Miranda Kane on that pole position. It's the same grid for all 3 races based on the qualifying. Shea McGregor with 2 podiums. Camille Conrad, she's had her first taste of podium success this weekend. She's going to be looking to replicate that, and do not count out Cassie Creer as well. She qualified 4th. The results in the races maybe haven't been what she would have expected, but I think she potentially, as this warm-up lap gets underway, Cassie Creer could also be one to watch.
Royal Enfield Build Train Race is brought to you by Royal Enfield since 1901 and by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
As the riders make their way around here on their siding lap, you can see that everyone's keen to get involved in the action here this weekend, local wildlife included. But Rog, when you look at what we've seen so far this weekend, from race 1 into race 2, we saw a big step forward from the riders and a lot more places where they were willing to try and make some moves.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of moves this race, actually, race 2 down into turn 1 there. The ladies get more confident on the brakes, and then from 8, 9 up over that hill into 11. The turn 13 is always the tricky corner with the braking and the passing, and for Miranda Kane, she really struggled in that downhill right, left, leading onto the front straightaway, where if she could clean that up, she's going to put herself close enough to make a pass.
And for the riders, as they make their way around, 8 laps of action, 11 riders in the field, and it will be Miranda Kane starting from that pole position once again. And for Miranda, points to be made up after that non-score in race 2 this morning, and you can see for her, once again, able to take that pole position from Ciara Knebel and then Shane McGregor. So for Knebel and for McGregor, 2 wins for Knebel and 2 podiums for McGregor. When you look at what can happen in this race, Freddie, what kind of steps and improvements can riders make?
Well, they all maybe a little bit of suspension adjustment, not a whole lot of time. This race, as Roger mentioned, is three. You know, we have 3 races this weekend, which is unusual. We normally just have 2, and so the time between the second and third race was just a little over an hour or so. So really, it's really about more the mental side, getting back up to that emotional peak and getting focused and to go out and put in another hard 8 laps.
We can see the weather conditions here for the riders. It's tough out there as well, Raj, 80 degrees.
Yeah, and it's a physical track too, going back and forth, changing direction, so that's going to come into play as well.
Yeah, fitness will be an issue after 3 races through the course of the weekend, and the riders just making their way to their starting positions on the front row of the grid. It will be Miranda Kane from Ciara Knebel and then Shane McGregor as everyone makes their way up towards their starting spots here. 8 laps of action in the Royal Enfield Build Train Race class. See everyone getting themselves ready on the grid and just taking the moment to settle their nerves and get ready for action here. We'll wait for the red flag to move at the front of the field, and then the lights will come on and we'll be getting ready for the 3rd race of action here in the Royal Enfield Build Train Race class at the Ridge Motorsports Park. On pole position, Miranda Kane, Ciara Knebel and Shane McGregor on the front row of the grid. It looks like it's a slow start from Kane. Knebel able to make a good jump, but as they gain their momentum, then Kane able to find some speed, and she's going to lead into turn 1. First time this weekend where she's led into turn 1, but she goes in deep. That's going to open up a door for a little bit more momentum for Ciara Knebel to run around the outside and give herself that chance to lead once again. We'll see if Miranda Kane's able to hold on to that 2nd position as riders start to attack her on the run down in towards turn 2. She sweeps across to hold on to 2nd spot.
Yeah, definitely Miranda. She held a position, didn't she, Raj? Going out of the chicane and then down into what is actually turn 1. She didn't let Shea get up the inside of her.
And you can see
She tried it down into turn 1. She wanted to lead out of that chicane, just got in a little bit too deep.
Yep.
And in that 2nd spot, it looks like once again it's Shane McGregor trying to chase down the front 2. And obviously after what we saw this morning as well, Miranda Kane wasn't going to open up half a door for Shane McGregor to try and come through. But on this opening lap, she really has been able to go with the 25 of Ciara Knebel and give herself the chance to open up a little bit of a gap to the rest of the field. In the other races we've seen so far this weekend, race 1, Knebel was able to open up a big lead at the start of that first lap, Freddie. Race 2 was a little bit closer, but right now it looks like those front 2 have been able just to separate themselves ever so slightly.
Well, you could definitely say that Miranda put the incident behind her, you know, which
Yes.
is good, you know, and she's focused on here. We'll see if Shea can make up the gap. She's already pushing Ciara this first lap.
Good to see from Miranda Kane on that 186 to be able to try and keep that challenge up on Ciara Knebel. Ciara, of course, our championship leader, 4 wins from 5 races. The crash in Road America, she's been able to bounce back from that. Now it's the chance for Miranda Kane to try and bounce back as well. And like you said, Freddie, she's aggressive from the outset, so she's not letting that crash really change her nerves.
Well, the way you have to do is you have to put that behind you, right, Raj? I mean, you can't really get out there and think about that. You can't let the frustration or the emotion push you to making a mistake, but you certainly want it to motivate you and make you get refocused, and that's what she's been able to do so far this first lap.
Just make a mistake and then more mistakes.
Exactly.
Kind of like she did off the start down into turn 1. Made that mistake, but she recovered and didn't make another mistake trying to overcorrect.
Yeah, really important to be able to bounce back from that. And for Ciara Knebel on that opening lap, a 2nd is the lead between herself and the 186 of Miranda Kane as we move back towards Casey Career on the 97 and Lucy Blundell on that 555 machine as they try and fight it out for that 4th position right now. And It is the 97 of Casey Creer that's holding on to that position right now, but we saw from Blundell that she was able to come through with a top 5 finish this morning in 4th spot, and she's chasing down that 4th position once again in this race. And it is a long race here, Freddie. It's only 8 laps, but it's still a case of it lasting just over 15 minutes for these riders, so a lot of action in this one.
Well, it's like what we were saying earlier. They're not used to running back-to-back races this close, so it's going to be not just a mental, obviously, but the physical aspect as far as their stamina.
You can see the riders here at the front of the field just breaking away from that 4th position battle. As we look back all the way, you can see Camille Conrad there on the 85 machine, Kate West at the back of that group as well. Camille able to come away with a podium finish this morning, Freddie. She tries to attack the 93 of Brianna Everett here as they move up the top of the hill. And for these riders, they know that this opening couple of laps, Raj, this is where it's very easy to make a mistake and lose touch with a group. You've got to make sure you're able to make your progress at this stage.
Yeah, and you can see just this battle these ladies are having right here. And then they've all been out with each other. This is the 3rd race. They kind of know where they're better than their competitors, and they can try to go out and put it all together.
Is back at the front of the field, and we can see Ciara Knebel from Miranda Kane. On this lap, it looks like Kane's been able to pull back a little bit of time in the middle of this lap. They matched each other's pace in Sector 1. We'll see what their times are as they come across the line to see if they're able to get down close to those 2:04s at this stage of the race. But once again, we catch up at the battle for 4th. Lucy Blundell able to make her move on Casey Creer, and she's up into 4th position where she finished race 2 this morning. And we'll wait and see for Lucy if she's going to be attacked once again by Casey on the next lap. But good effort from the Scotswoman to be able to move herself through into that 4th position. And you can see the move that she made here, Freddie, just down the inside and able to make the move nice and clean into 13.
Yeah, that was a good pass. Got by her. No damage was done, so that was good. And
able to hold that momentum as well down the hill. You can see here for the 85 just trying to attack Camille Conrad, and Camille still down there in 7th spot. She had that podium spot. She was the beneficiary of the crash at the last lap to move up from 4th to 2nd, but good effort from her in race 2 this morning. We'll see if she's able to make some progress in this group as well. If she's able to come away with a top 5 finish in this one, fighting it out in this group would be a good performance.
Well, one of the things Camille talked about, she felt like she got a good start this morning. It's just that when she's losing and losing the space, the spots is going down into the chicane. And so, being down in 7th position.
Freddie, when you look at how these riders have developed from their rookie seasons last year into this year, the changes that they've seen, you can see Miranda Kane here with a great run to try and run around the outside of Ciara Knebel and get down the inside then into the left-hander to try and take this race lead. And last time around, Ciara Knebel was the only rider down in the 2:04. She had 1.1 seconds across the line, but on this lap, Miranda Kane able to claw back all that time and then some more. Over a second faster in the middle sector of this lap. Knebel trying to attack back on that 25, and you can see here the move, Raj, from Miranda Kane around the outside.
Yeah, just great pass to there, getting that run. That really came out of turn 8 there, just that run up over the hill and putting herself right on the inside line.
And Knebel's been able to get herself back into the lead as well now at this stage as they trade places. And Freddie, when you look at the development for these riders as well, what's been the big change for them from last year to this year in terms of their feedback and what they're able to understand about? Experience
with the machine, and also just their own individual confidence levels going up. As you were seeing here, Miranda under acceleration, she got a great drive coming off the last corner. And there's one of the areas that she wanted to get better in this race, Raj. We were talking about earlier that Ciara was so strong in that last sector between 13 and lead on the front straightaway.
See here Shea McGregor in that 3rd spot. She's at 2 podiums already this weekend, 2nd in the championship standing, 16 points down on Ciara Knebel, but strong performance and consistency this weekend.
Well, and like I was saying, one of the things is just their self-confidence. The self-confidence that you gain from the experience, and for a lot of them, they don't have a whole lot of racing experience, and so they're doing a lot of track days, they're doing a lot of club events back home, and we have some out there with just very different experiences. This is a great battle between Brianna Cutler
and Karina Simoes there in the 51 machine. Karina trying to attack around the outside into turn 1, and that puts you on the inside line into 2, and you can see for Cutler able to hold off the 51, and they've been able to have a good scrap so far as we move towards half distance in this race. We're on lap 4 of 8 as we see back up at the front of the field Ciara Knebel able to open up a few bike lengths on this lap. And obviously, Rog, after you've been overtaken and caught like she was last time around, it gives you that wake-up call.
Yeah, and she knows now she can't leave the door open, and you can see she's kind of got her head down now. And also, she's going to know where that pass was and be able to start kind of blocking and changing her lines.
We'll see if Miranda's able to try and give herself that chance to come back at Knebel as well. It is a long race. We're just coming up towards half distance now as well. So plenty of time left in this one, Freddie, as long as you're able to stay in contention.
The key is to staying in contact and then not make any mistakes. You can see the Kira there. Yeah, definitely had a moment. She's pushing hard, trying to break away from Miranda. Miranda's lap times staying very consistent.
Last time around it was a 2:06 from Knebel, and we'll see a faster time this time around. She hasn't been overtaken by her rival, and we'll see if she's able to get back down into the 2:04s like she was earlier in the race. 2:05.1 for our race leader Knebel, so good speed there at this stage of the race as well, but big moment down the hill as well. The front tucked on her, Rog, and she was able to save it.
Yeah, that was a great save, and not only be able to save it, but get back right up to speed and not slow down. And see Miranda here building up out of that chicane down into turn 2.
Bit strange there though from Knebel.
Yeah,
she had a big look over
up
her shoulder like she had a bit of an issue. As she tries to slot back behind Miranda Kane now at this stage, and could be something as easy, Freddie, as just missing a shift there, and maybe it costs her that bit of momentum, but that's a worry now for Knebel.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what she was sitting up and looking around. Look, maybe she was looking back to see. She had the rear end, it came around. I'm not sure if she missed a shift.
See,
she definitely had an issue.
We'll see what Miranda Kane can do out in front now with 3.5 laps to go, trying to open up a little bit of an advantage over Kira Knebel. And for Kane, our pole sitter here, she's had the speed over a single lap, but Kira Knebel on the 25 has had the answer for her all the way through this weekend on the races. And you can see at this stage of the track as well, all over the back end of her, Kira Knebel, just trying to give herself that chance to come through. And we'll see if she's able to return the favour on Miranda Kane, where Kane had overtaken Knebel earlier in the race, but not quite close enough to do that. But still plenty of time left in this one to be able to make your moves. But for Kira Knebel on the 25, our championship leader, just trying to settle herself back down after what happened there at the start of this race as well. But Shane McGregor in the 4.57, still running in that third spot. A lonely race for her. She's 6 seconds behind the race leaders, and we've just seen the race leaders change hands there as well, with Knebel able to attack down on the run in towards turn 13 to retake the lead. And Rog, every time that there's been a question asked of her, she's been able to answer it.
Yeah, she's really good out of that turn 12, and that's an important corner to be good at because it puts you right before that passing opportunity, and she's been able to strike back every lap in turn 13.
I think one of the issues too the riders are facing is the track temperature's gone up. This is the hottest the temperature's been all weekend for them, and so the bikes are starting to move around a little bit. Kira, she say, because they get a tire allotment over the weekend, they get 2 brand new sets of tires, and they can change them when they decide. And Kira decided to change her and put her new set on just for this last race. Which could benefit her because, you know, fresh set of tires, that's certainly, track temperature is up. The bike's going to start to slide around a little bit, and the newer the tires, the better the chances of that being nullified.
Is the allocation different this weekend because we've got that hat-trick races?
No, they're the same amount of tires as they normally get, even though there's an extra race.
You can see at the front of the field, Knebel just able to stretch a little bit of a lead now. She's had the fastest first sector of the race to pull out another half second on Miranda Kane at this stage. And Rog, it does look like she's been able to find that bit of confidence she needs, and she's been able to open up that bit of a gap now.
Yeah, you can see it in her riding too. She's got her head down and pushing a little bit harder, a little bit more aggressive. She's getting really good, seems to me, Freddie, off the corner from the middle to the exit. She's able to keep her road speed up.
Yes, you can see she ran the quickest sector 1 of the race so far, 40.6.
Shane McGregor we catch up with here on the 4.57, and McGregor having a good weekend. 2 podiums in race 1 and race 2, and 2.5 laps to go between her and another podium finish. It'll be 3rd spot here for McGregor, matching what she did this morning. And obviously a little bit less instant filled at the end of the race will be her plan for this afternoon's race. But at the front of the field, Kira Knebel, she's the best sector time of all in sector 1, best sector in sector 2 as well. So she's on course for a new fastest lap in this race, and we'll see if she's able to get that run through to the end of the line to do that. She's trying to open up a gap that at the start of this lap was half a second, but it's definitely stretched well over a second now, Rog, and she's been able to use that new fresh tyre, like you said, Freddie, to be able to open up a gap, but she looks comfortable out there now, Rog.
And we'll see what she can do with the lap time there. 2:03.6. So almost as quick as she went this morning with the track temperatures up. But she did a great job, and you can see how hard she's pushing now. She made a little mistake in turn 13 that last lap, just pushing that extra little bit.
Looking back now to see the top three as the leaders come through the chicane, and then the 4.57 of Shea McGregor making her way through turns 1, 2 and down in towards 3. The lead that she has over her pursuers is around about 11.5 seconds from Lucy Blondell, and then Camille Conrad 1.5 seconds down on that, as the groups start to stretch out ever so slightly now into the final quarter of this race. Just less than 2 laps to go now, and for Ciara Knebel, you can see how big that lead is now at this stage. Last time around, she was able to pull back 1.5 seconds on Miranda Kane. The gap now over 2 seconds, and she continues to set fast sectors, Rog.
Yeah, even now that lap there with the red first sector, so she definitely has her head down. This is the tough part to be. You're pulling away. You got a couple second gap. How hard do you push to extend it or just try to bring it home?
Well, the main thing is you don't want to make a mistake. You certainly don't want to do that. And I think, you know, she had said earlier she would have liked to have gotten down around to Michaela's lap record time, which was, I believe, in the 2:02s from last year. So, but she also knows she only needs to go fast enough to win.
Yes.
And for Knebel, it is one of those situations as well where you don't want to roll off at this stage as well, because then your concentration can drop a little bit. You want to make sure you're still able to push on to give yourself those chances to hit all your markers, and that's exactly what she's doing at this stage. In that second sector, she was still able to pull back another 1/4 second on Miranda Kane behind her, so the lead should stretch out to around about 3 seconds on this lap, and she'll be able to enjoy that final lap of the race as she comes across to see the white flags to indicate last lap of this one, Rog.
Freddie, do they have pit boards?
No, they do not. So they have their lap timers. They know what their lap times are, but they do not have pit boards.
New fastest lap of the race for Ciara Knebel at 2:03.4, so she's gone another couple of tenths of a second faster than she had done as she moves into the last lap of the weekend. We're back to see Lucy Blondell on the 555 machine just in front of Camille Conrad as they try and fight it out for that 4th position right now, and certainly for Lucy, she's doing a good job to hold off Camille. And in yesterday's race, Lucy finished 8th. In this morning's race, she moved up to finish in 4th. Good step forward, but she's about to make a step backwards now as the 85 attacks down in towards turn 1. And we'll see if Camille Conrad's able to keep her behind. And she is able to make that move. We saw at times last year that Camille was able to have some really strong performances, Freddie. So good to be able to see her back there in that second group.
The strongest part for her is the races, and that's one thing that she's been working on, as they all work on, is their starts and then their lap time consistency and being able to put in a good qualifying position, because you can see how it affects you the first lap or so. If you don't get a good start and you lose touch with the lead group, it's really difficult to make up that gap.
4.5 seconds is the lead for number 25, Ciara Knebel, out in front, just halfway through this lap, and easing her way through to the end of it. And another moment there for her, Rog. We saw one earlier in the race, but now with that comfortable lead, that's going to give her that wake-up call for the end of this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough too without knowing if somebody's right behind you or not, without a pit board to look back.
That's right. Yeah, she had said that earlier, that she didn't know going into the last corner, you know, how close that Miranda was or that Shea was. So that's exactly right. Normally you have a chance to look back. It's very difficult on this racetrack to look back and see where the other riders are without it distracting you.
6th race of the season, and taking her 5th win of the year, Ciara Knebel with the hat-trick here at Ridge Motorsports Park in the Royal Enfield Build Train race class. She comes across the line from Miranda Kane to be able to take this race victory. Miranda able to come away with a podium yesterday and a podium here to finish the weekend, but that non-score in race 2 costly for her championship challenge against Knebel. 3 podiums out of 3 this weekend for Shea McGregor on the 4.57. It was a lonely race for her, but no mistakes, and able to claim that 2nd, 3rd place finish of the day and 3rd podium of the weekend. In 4th position, it looks like it's going to be Camille Conrad on the 85. She had a podium this morning, and she's able to come away with a top 5 finish ahead of Lucy Blondell in 4th spot, as Casey Creer comes across the line in 6th, and then it looked like Brianna Everett just taking that 7th place finish as well. But all about the race winner here, Ciara Knebel. Another win, 5 from 6 to show the dominance that she's had in the Royal Enfield Build Train Race class this season, and she's able to claim this one by just under 6 seconds from Miranda Kane and Shea McGregor here at the Ridge.
Royal Enfield Build Train Race is brought to you by Royal Enfield since 1901 and by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Ciara Knebel just making her way around. We'll get the chance to hear from her in just a couple of moments down in Parc Ferme, but 3 from 3. And Freddie, what we saw from her during the course of that race was when she had to, she could put the hammer down, those 203s at the end of the race.
Well, you could see that she was pushing, and we saw that where she lost the rear that one time when she was battling with Miranda, and then of course at the very last lap where the rear came around, it kind of chattered away. And she talked about that a little bit after the second race, but she held on, put in a great ride. It was a great ride from Miranda. Very proud of her. Very proud of all the riders and the job they did today.
Yeah, it's a good weekend of racing here in the Build Train Race class, and we were able to see, obviously, able to take those 3 race victories, but nice to be able to see other riders getting themselves in the mix. And Shea McGregor really impressive, obviously coming into this race second in the championship standings with her podiums and consistency, but she was able to have a very battling day over the course of today, and that crash in race 2, she was still able to remount and give herself the chance to be able to score a podium finish this morning, and then back that up once again with another podium finish in 3rd spot. 3 races here this weekend at the Ridge Motorsport Park, and it's 3 race victories for Ciara Knebel in the Royal Enfield Build Train Race class. Miranda Kane finishing in 2nd spot, Shea McGregor on the podium, and then Camille Conrad with another top 5 finish in 4th to back up her podium from this morning. Lucy Blondel with 4th and 5th finishes here today at the Ridge. Riders now making their way down pit lane and in towards Parc Ferme. We'll be able to hear from them when they're down there with Michael Hill in just a moment. But for Ciara Knebel, Freddie, when you look at her performance this weekend, she's been able to really establish herself as that championship favourite.
Well, and that's one of the things that she has really made a big improvement on from last year as we watched her at the start of the race. And Miranda got a great start. She overcharged a little bit going into the chicane on the first lap, but she wanted to get position. She didn't want to let Ciara get away. And then, of course, she was able to stay with her and get close to her and actually make a pass. And then at the very end, Ciara was able to pull it out and
see here in the early stage of the race, it was the battle for 4th as well. It was a fast battle for those riders. We saw there Lucy Blondel attacking Casey Greer and getting herself in a good scrap with Camille Conrad at the end of it as well. But at the front of the field, Miranda Kane tried to answer back to Ciara Knebel, not quite able to keep that fight all the way through this race, but by the end of it, Kane was able to still come away with 2nd spot and 20 championship points. But you can see here for Ciara Knebel, the look over her shoulder, Freddie, around about 2/3 distance.
Well, this is where I think she was just kind of settling down and thinking about it. When you say Raj, you know, she looks like she was just kind of trying to take it easy for a little bit and let everything cool down. But then she made the pass and was able to make it stick, but Camille came through on Lucy at the very end. Lucy would be a little frustrated about that because she had 4th place earlier and she got 5th place in this time. But great ride for Ciara, 3 great finishes.
Yeah, 3 wins from 3, and that's what's allowed her to give herself a commanding championship lead as well. With 5 wins from 6 races, Ciara Knebel able to hold a 25-point advantage over Shea McGregor, with Miranda Kane 3 points further back after this hat-trick of races here at the Ridge. Down into Parc Ferme, Michael Hill is going to be able to get the thoughts of our 3 podium finishers.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. 3 races, 3 wins, an extended lead in the championship, but a bit of a moment on the last lap that had us all out of our seats. I know you're laughing about it now. Thankfully, you managed to keep it on 2 wheels, but 75 points from 75. What a weekend.
Oh, you know, I love this track, so I'm so happy to be back here at the Ridge. Yeah, I was able to put new tires on for this race, but Dunlop did an awesome job getting those tires ready. I don't think we had them on the warmers quite long enough to get an accurate PSI reading, so I might have been running a little high there. It was kind of slick compared to what I would like, but I'm getting it all dialed in. The K-Tech suspension is getting there, and we've got the guys under the tent helping make that happen for us. So I'm just really happy to be back up here. Good redemption for Miranda. So she was right there. It was a really great battle. I can't wait to watch the race.
Great job. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, our 3-time race winner this weekend, Kira Knebel. Let's keep that applause going as we come across to Miranda Kane, and she keeps her championship hopes alive. It's a long season. There's a lot of support here for you this weekend. We won't dwell on what happened in race 2. That was a good way to bounce back, and certainly up until the last couple of laps, that was a great fight.
Yeah, I'm really thankful for the team for getting me back out there. Last hour and a half has been a little emotional, but you know, I'm happy to be up here. Obviously, this is impossible with MotoAmerica. I really got to thank Corner 13 track marshals. They maybe got a little yelled at when I was frustrated, but thank you again. Thank you, Royal Enfield. Thank you, Dunlop. These tires work great here with elevation. You know, it's just, you can't do anything without K-Tech either, so thank you again.
Excellent. Great to see you back up here. Come on, let's hear it for Miranda Kane. She keeps her championship hopes alive, and as I said, points make prizes. And nobody knows that more than Shea McGregor. It was a bit of a lonely race, but 3 races, 3 podiums. That's a solid weekend.
Better lonely than on the ground. I was able to keep it up this time. Didn't take anybody else out. I had front row seats to a really great race. Miranda and Kira did awesome. I could watch them battling up there, but I just couldn't quite keep up. I want to say thank you to all the BTR mechanics and everybody on the BTR team for helping me get everything together and getting Miranda out there. And thank you to Arrive for giving me a new helmet when I trashed my other one. We really appreciate your support.
Excellent job. All 3 ladies then in contention for the championship. Ridge Motorsport Park, come on, let me hear you.
Thanks, Michael. And for the riders now in the Build Train race class, they know that there's time running out for until the end of this season, and for our championship leader Kira Knebel, those 5 race victories have given her a 25-point advantage, and we've only got one more round remaining at the BIR on August 17th and 18th is when we'll go racing. And Freddie, the last opportunity then to be able to claw back those points. 25 is a big advantage going into one round left.
Yeah, this weekend was really important for the championship and how it was going to turn out. It certainly was exciting, and it's exciting for me to watch it. It's kind of difficult because I'm so emotionally invested in all their performances, but really great, very proud of everyone and just how great of a race weekend they put on, and a good show for everyone.
Yeah, hat-trick of races, and a big thank you to Freddie Spencer for joining us here once again for the Royal Enfield Build Train race class. 3 races, 3 race victories, and only 1 round remaining for Kira Knebel to be able to wrap up this championship.
Introducing Spectro Performance Oil's heavy-duty product line.